Hey Rodney, did you know that this year over 60 countries have election events happening? Voters are going to the polls in record numbers in countries like India, Mexico, the UK, and the United States. I was thinking, as AWS customers prepare for these elections, cloud services will play a vital role. Elections are interesting for AWS support customers because the campaigning, voter registration, vote counting, and even information broadcasting don't follow a continuous cycle. Seems like it could be a real added challenge to cloud customers to successfully prepare for these events when they don't happen every year. Can you imagine the infrastructure components and applications that could change in the time in between? And then the need to be optimized to handle these significant workload increases, and you may not have all that in house expertise.
Yes, Lynn, it's so important that you have critical support at every phase of your election planning and in real time, and even post-election to do a retrospective. That's one of the reasons why AWS Support just launched the new offering, AWS Countdown Premium. It could be a path for customers to get critical support across all phases of their election milestones, from design to post-election event retrospectives. Designated engineers selected from a team of AWS experts provide proactive guidance and troubleshooting using proven playbooks and apply the same best practices used for major events like Amazon Prime Day. Designated engineers get involved from project inception to ensure continuity, provide access to subject matter experts, and leverage support tools for fast issue resolution. The support engineer will be there during the event on the phone for the live streaming events, voter registration, vote counting, and more to provide rapid issue triage and resolution, armed with the application context. AWS Countdown Premium helps you increase your infrastructure investment return by enabling you to deliver the high-impact events and achieve your organizational goals.
Getting the same expertise and best practices used to support an event like Amazon Prime Day could really help organizations that may support election events just every few years. Sounds expensive. I'm thinking about all the administrative processes, making sure the data is protected, making sure websites are responsive, that the data isn't threatened, and then on top of all that, Gen AI is here?
You're right. It's a critical scenario. In the past, we've seen the customers have come to AWS during election season for help in 3 different areas. One is live streaming, that includes managing streaming for election-related events. Second is election results, and the third is broadcasting.
Oh, wow. The underlying infrastructure must need to scale significantly with all those viewers. And can you imagine if there was any lag between the live event and what was streaming? And then, of course, if they added any advertisement into the mix or needed analytics?
Exactly. And then there's the management of the voting systems. AWS can help ensure the security, integrity, and scalability of the voting systems to ensure transparency and combat cyber attacks. For example, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security declared the U.S. electoral system as critical infrastructure, which places election infrastructure in the same category as the U.S. power grid or financial sector.
What about the actual election night? All of the calculation, tracking, publishing the actual election results has to be real time and rendered up to the minute and complete with analysis.
You're right. And the infrastructure has to autoscale with all those added users with no impact to performance, and cost optimization has to be considered too.
So, since we are talking about scaling, we've estimated these spikes in user traffic to these vote publishing interfaces will exceed 50 times the peak traffic during US presidential elections when compared to county elections. So we have this increasing traffic and potential cyber threats by adversaries, and that would increase the stress on your infrastructure, resulting in slower response times and even system failures. What should viewers be doing to prepare for this type of event?
AWS offers a well-architected framework that evaluates the architecture of your workloads and compares them to AWS best practices along 6 pillars: operational excellence, security, reliability, performance, efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. Using this framework can help you build secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient application infrastructure. It's necessary when your organizations are responsible for the remediation of identified risks and other critical areas for election-related workloads. Ideally, a well-architected review should be part of an organization's best practices and conducted at least 2 to 3 months in advance to allow time to implement recommendations. Now, with Countdown Premium, the designated engineer will guide you through the review in context of your applications and use cases.
Wow, that sounds like a best practice that everyone should be doing. Now you have me thinking about the voter engagement solutions that customers are building. I know about Alexa, Amazon Lex, and Amazon Connect to manage call centers and chatbots. There are also AI driven social media dashboards that can be built with Amazon Comprehend. Could a Countdown Premium engineer offer guidance with these types of services?
The short answer is yes, but they can also perform an operational readiness review that evaluates the readiness, availability, and risks associated with election-related production workloads. And then it creates a series of action items with remediation to be addressed by customer teams. Now, during this process, the Countdown Premium engineer reviews the operational mechanisms, typically with the customer's development, operations, and/or DevOps teams. The lead engineer then evaluates and reviews the mechanisms of the operational goals, risk assessment, architecture assessment, monitoring, deployment, testing, team structure, and escalation procedures. This review should be conducted at least 1 month prior to the event, and since they are part of AWS Countdown Premium Engineer, can also pull in other engineer domain experts if they need additional insights.
What about cybersecurity and privacy?
AWS meets over 90 international compliance standards, certifications, frameworks, and authorizations such as FedRAMP in the US and ISO 27001, 27017, 27018 internationally, and provides services that adhere to the high privacy bar and data protection standards required of data processors by the GDPR for data privacy in the EU. The security assessment tool generates a point-in-time assessment of the customer security posture and offers actionable insights for triaging risk points. The SAT can also be run multiple times as remediation is applied to assess ongoing progress. Now, AWS Shield, a managed distributed denial of protection service or DDoS, used along with Amazon CloudFront and Amazon Route 53, provides comprehensive availability protection against all known infrastructure, both Layer 3 and 4 attacks. When you're working with AWS Countdown Premium engineers, they can help you validate your security framework and build a landing zone to ensure that your workloads are protected against DDoS attacks, are highly available, and fault tolerant. This review should be conducted at least 1 month prior to the event.
I'm so sorry that I keep going back to scaling, but I just keep thinking about these organizations who don't do this all the time. I imagine they need to first assess the expected traffic along with the current infrastructure capacity. And then they have the traffic demand, and they probably need to identify the event scope and focus on resource constraints, third-party dependency, and or disaster recovery options to ensure all relevant resources can scale in correlation with that increasing viable traffic.
AWS supports scaling at both individual and aggregate level using AWS Autoscaling, which adjusts capacity to maintain steady performance at the lowest cost in tune with the variable traffic. Some services have to be pre-warmed in case of steep traffic forecast. Customers can reserve the required resources by self-service tools or by reaching out to AWS support. Your Countdown Premium engineer will assess your capacity requirements and help you reserve infrastructure in the most cost-effective way. They will help you choose the best option among auto-scaling, pre-warming, or a combination of both, dependent on your system and expected traffic pattern. For example, the Federal Election Commission expects to review 1 billion campaign contributions on AWS in 2024 and will scale up the infrastructure to meet user demands quickly.
Okay, I've got it. So they're ready to scale. But what about monitoring? It is crucial to detect and rectify any issues that arise during an election event. An effective monitoring system would need to track system performance and identify potential bottlenecks.
Countdown Premium engineers help customers identify the critical metrics, develop dashboards, alarms, and mitigation plan to proactively mitigate or resolve issues. For example, our Countdown Premium engineers can work with you to implement an AI-driven social media dashboard to capture real-time customer feedback to help identify any issues with your systems. Customers often track their metrics on vote publishing interfaces or live streaming on CloudWatch or chatbot performance in the Amazon Lex console.
I understand that there was a recent challenge with one of our customers' vote publishing interface, where increased user traffic led to higher latency and a suboptimal experience. However, this situation has provided us with a valuable learning opportunity. By identifying the root cause as an artificial limit on database connections in the application layer, we can now take proactive measures to prevent similar issues in the future. One key step will be to implement more comprehensive load testing procedures to ensure our systems can handle varying levels of traffic effectively. With this knowledge and commitment to continuous improvement, we can enhance the resilience and performance of your AWS environment, ultimately delivering a superior experience for our valued customers.
AWS Countdown Premium engineers can guide customers on load testing and also help them fine-tune alarm thresholds against their relevant resources. An escalation matrix along with a communication plan should be in place prior to the event with owners assigned to each high-priority risk.
Well, it sounds like the Countdown Premium engineers can cover preparedness for the event and even be there virtually with customers during the event. So, taking advantage of your AWS support plan along with the AWS Countdown Premium provides even more customer assurance due to the experience that AWS has and the breadth and depth of these experts available across the board. Are there any insights available post event?
Sure. After the election event is completed, the infrastructure resources can be ramped down, one of the many benefits of running workloads on AWS. A post-event retrospective helps identify gaps in processes and creates a baseline for similar future events. The retrospective should focus on incidents during the event window, runbook effectiveness, monitoring effectiveness, communication plan, and dependent services performance.
Well, I can certainly see how AWS Countdown Premium can play a role in successful election events. Having additional AWS cloud experts available to customer teams that focus on reliable, scalable, and secure systems where all system layers work together to create the most effective and secure experience. The success of these events heavily depends on planning and preparation throughout the lifecycle. If there's one thing to take away from today and everything we've talked about, it's the importance of allotting sufficient time to plan and to remediate and strengthen your infrastructure and workloads.
Speaking of which, it would be great for folks to see some of the AWS services and customized runbooks we use to help our customers with planning and design to get ready for big events. Now, Atul Anand, Senior Product Manager for AWS Countdown, is here to show us a demo.
Thank you, Rodney and Lynn, for the engaging conversation on election preparation with Countdown Premium. Hi, all. I am Atul Anand, a Senior Product Manager in AWS Support. I will provide a demo on how Countdown Premium engineers help guide customers prepare for events such as elections using two tools. First one, well-architected tool to assess the architecture of your workloads across 6 pillars of operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, cost optimization, and sustainability. I will also demo AWS Migration Hub Journey tool, which streamlines event planning, execution, and tracking all activities in one console. The tool includes default templates for multiple events that helps visualize activity backlogs, owners, and tracks progress. I will demo the operational review as discussed by Lynn and Rodney earlier. I will start the demo with well-architected tool. You can access the tool from the console home. Once you get into the tool, you have the option of defining a new workload using the define workload option, or you can use your existing workloads from workloads option in the left-hand column. Let me start with a define workload option. Once you click on define workload, you need to share the name, the description, the review owner of the workload. A review owner can be a team or an individual. Select your environment, provide your AWS regions, as well as all of the account IDs where this workload is present. Fill in the other relevant details. You also have the option of syncing your Jira account to track the issues discovered in the review. Once done, click on next. You have the option of adding or creating a profile, which helps customers prioritize which well-architected questions to focus on first by providing a list of prioritized questions that are better aligned with their business goals and outcomes. I'm going to skip this. Next, you can also use an existing lens across multiple use cases or use a generic one to review your workload. Once you click on define a workload, you can go and check your workloads. All of your medium and high risks will be displayed in the workload overview section. Next, you can go and add or edit your existing lenses, as well as you can go and answer all of your questions within these lenses. Well-architected review helps you build secure, high-performing, resilient, and efficient application infrastructure. And it should be conducted at least 2 to 3 months in advance to allow time to implement recommendations. I will now move on to Migration Hubs tool. It allows customers and other AWS staff to collaborate for the event preparation. Migration Hub provides the opportunity to create spaces for each customer or team and then journeys for each individual event. A user can choose from a set of predefined templates that have been developed and refined over the years and used by AWS experts to support events such as elections or live streaming. Let's take a deeper look. You can log on to Migration Hub journey using AWS Builder ID or AWS account. Once you log in, you are assigned to Journey dashboard. Once you log in to the Migration Hub, you are taken to the dashboard where you get a snapshot of all your existing journeys in play. Let's start with creating a new migration space, which you can access from the column in the left-hand side. I've already opened it up, so you can put your space name, add a description, and then create a migration space. Once a migration space has been created, you can go and create a new migration journey. You can create a migration journey as mentioned earlier, either from your existing hub templates or from custom journey templates as well. As you can see, there are multiple different use cases. Once you select a use case here, then you can add other details around name, your completion date, and select a migration space where you want to create this journey. For our demo today, we will focus on operational review as discussed by Lynn and Rodney earlier. I have created a journey from an existing template and I'm going to walk you through this. As you can see, there are 563 planned tasks as of now in this journey. Each of this journey is divided into phases, which is then further divided into modules. There are 9 modules in this journey. And then each of these modules are divided into tasks. Tasks view are in Kanban board format which helps you share information quickly across the different stages of in progress, completed, or out of scope as well. You can quickly move a tasks from one stage to another. Now coming back to the modules, the ORR has overall 9 modules across AI ML or Gen AI, application integration, compute, database, security, and compliance, and others. Today, we are going to focus on 2 modules. First, database services, and second, security and compliance. For the remaining modules, we can go and move them out of scope. Once done, I've already done this earlier for the remaining 7 modules here. Now, if we go back to the overview, we can go and see that the planned tasks has reduced from 563 to 165. Now, moving back to the modules, and we are going to dig deeper into the database services. Now, as you can see, there are 91 tasks scheduled in the database services. You further have the option of customizing this based on your workload. Select all the relevant services that is applicable to your workload. I'm going to select only DynamoDB here. And then once you click on apply, it will go and customize your existing tasks further. Next, it's going to ask me a set of questions for DynamoDB and what are the different properties or how your workload is scheduled. This further helps you eliminate a lot of planned tasks from your existing review. I'm going to enter values here. Once done, click on apply, and you will see that a lot of these tasks will be moved from out of scope. So out of the 91, we have roughly 5 tasks remaining in this module. Now, coming back to the overall dashboard for our current journey here, we have further reduced the count of tasks to 80. I'm going to go to the tasks tab, and I'm going to open a task focused on DynamoDB. You will see multiple details here which you can go and add. Further, within each task page, you can add a detailed description, tools, have a detailed acceptance criteria, as well as you have the capability to add comments, attach files, create dependencies, as well as track what are your current blockers. You can assign this to an individual, to a team. You can change this status from work in progress or completed as well. Now, we are going to dig deeper in the security and compliance module. Once you have clicked on the module, you identify that there are 74 tasks again. Similar to the database, you can go and customize the existing services that you're using for your workload. Now, I'm going to go and select only guard duty here. Again, as in the database services, this will ask me a set of questions relevant to guard duty so that it can understand your current status of your workload relevant for guard duty. As you can see, from 74, now 72 of the tasks have been moved out of scope, and I only need to focus on 2 tasks here. Now, if you go back to our dashboard for the journey, you will see that from 563, we are now down to only 8 planned tasks. In this task section as well, similar to other tasks, you can go and start adding your relevant findings, your tickets, as well as communicate with other users. Countdown Premium engineers work with you across each phase of your event preparation to ensure that you can conduct your event successfully and in an optimized manner. Now, I'm going to show you how your team and Countdown Premium engineers can collaborate using this tool. So once you are in the journey, you can go and start inviting other people as well. You can invite the individual from the same migration space, from other migration spaces, as well as you can assign them a role of either they are the journey admin or a contributor only. Please click the link below to visit our website, or you can contact us directly on the email mentioned below as well. That is AWS-countdown-subscription@amazon.com. Thank you for your time.